You got to start now. Otherwise, you're never going to actually ever get started as a singer, as a dancer, as a performer. Welcome to the Sing Confidently, Live Creatively podcast, a show to help you build confidence as you start singing, acting, dancing, and being creative again. Hi, I'm Estelle. I'm a singer, actor, performer, and a beginner voice coach who knows how it feels to want to use your God-given creative gifts, but you stay stuck in fear and doubt. The solution is to start building confidence. You have gifts that you need to grow and use and share, and the world is waiting for you. I want to be there with you to help you do that. It's time to live creatively. So without further ado, let's begin. Hi guys, welcome back to the show. I'm so excited as always that you are here listening. Happy Monday. All right, I want to get right into the episode because I need to talk about this with you guys. We need to talk about this. This is something that I hear, not as much as I hear the main thing that the show is always trying to address, which is about helping you build confidence so that you can start singing and performing, acting and dancing with confidence, right? So that you can become the performer, the artist, the creative that you know in your heart that you can become, right? That we all are wanting to become. So that is the biggest thing, is like confidence. I talked about imposter syndrome on the most recent episode. Go back and listen to that episode 154 if you haven't already. And if you deal with imposter syndrome, you definitely want to listen to that. I've also have other episodes about that, as well as so many episodes about confidence at this point. So just scroll on back and listen to all of them, okay? But for today, I do want to address something else that I hear a lot when it comes to wanting to start singing, acting, and dancing, especially if you are in this audience, in this community. You're probably an adult, you're probably in your 20s and 30s or so, and you used to do, theater when you were younger, you used to be in choir, you used to sing, you used to dance, you used to love performing arts, being creative. Maybe you even wrote songs and poems when you were younger, maybe you did spoken word, maybe you were in band, okay? We all had this creative passion growing up, but then we grew up, right? We grew up and the world told us you have to do this, this, and this, and you don't have time for things that are creative because that is, selfish, like who cares, blah, blah, blah. We heard all these lies that we told ourselves and that other people told us. So how then do we, once we have, taken courageous action, which I talk about a lot, about taking small steps of action, how to take action steps. I have many episodes on that as well, because we have to have the courage to take action. And once we've done that, it's like, okay, I've taken action. I want to be consistent in it, but I don't feel like I have the time. Like, I don't feel like I have the time to go to a dance class. I don't feel like I have the time to, sing, do singing lessons. I don't have the time to grow, to audition, to do X, Y, or Z. So I want to give you one super helpful tip that I believe will help you make time in your busy schedule for your creative passions, because guess what? I have a busy schedule too, and I completely understand. So I would love to encourage you in one way this episode, so that you can actually start, so you can get started today and not put it off anymore, not one more second. Don't put off growing as a creative in your creative gifting, as a singer, as a dancer, as a performer. Don't put it off. And even if, a lot of the times I'm talking to people who are beginners, who are, starting again, and you're aspiring to become a professional and a more intentional singer and performer as an adult. But even if you are someone who has been doing it and you just need that extra encouragement, this is also for you, because we all need that encouragement, that reminder that we can make time for the gifting that we have to continue to grow in it, right? So even if you're like consistently performing and whatnot, you have to also make time to keep practicing and keep developing. And that's something that I absolutely need that reminder for all the time. So my number one tip to make time in my busy schedule for my creative passions, for the things that I love to do and that I also want to do with so much intention and professionalism, because that's what I want to do for my career as a performer, is to figure out my goal. Figure out my goal, and one, I did not say 2, I did not say 5, not 10, but one action step that you can take on a consistent basis. And this can change from season to season. I'll talk about that in a second. But think about, what is your goal? So for me, my goal is to be a performer and a performing arts entrepreneur. I want to be an artist who serves artists. So I'm a singer, I'm a performer myself, and I'm also wanting to share my love for performing with other people, helping other people build confidence to start singing and performing again. So that is what my goal is as a person. Professionally, I want to be a performer myself, which I am. I'm a singer and I'm an actor, but I also want to be that, I'm a singing coach as well. Like, that's what I'm doing. That's what my goal is, right? To continue to do that and to do that full time. And so that's my goal. And so what are my action steps? Well, because I have two goals that are kind of simultaneous, it might feel like I have like a bunch of different action steps. But my main action step, which I recently accomplished by the grace of God, truly, was that I wanted to further my education and my understanding about my craft by going to grad school. This for me was something that I really wanted to do because of my upbringing. I grew up daughter of, Nigerian immigrants. I grew up, really loving learning and wanting to grow and wanting to pursue, more education, right? And so I thought that I had to do that in medicine when I realized that's not what God had for me. But I could still do that in another thing that I actually really love, another area that I love. And so I decided that, I really want to further my education, and not just for myself to become a better performer and to make those, really great connections that I hope to make in this, and that I definitely plan to make in this grad school experience, to make those connections, to make, build deep relationships with other artists who I can look up to and grow and learn from, but also so that I could be a great coach, right? So my grad school degree is in music and music education. So it's all about not only growing as myself as an artist, but also helping other people and how to, teach and build a studio that will support other aspiring artists as well, right? And so of course I'm doing the thing, but I also want to keep growing. And so that's my number one action step for my overall goal, to be a performer and performing arts entrepreneur, and right, I'm the actor, singer that I am, and also singing coach, and to just grow and develop in that. And my one action step is something that I'm working in right now as I'm about to start grad school. And so, well, I guess by the time this comes out, this will be my first day of school. Yay. So yeah, that's fun. But that's my number one, that's my goal and my one action step. And it was a super big action step, right? Because and it took me now 2 years to accomplish it, right? Because I, didn't get in the first time around, and now I got into another program this time around by the grace of God. And so it's amazing, right? I continued to work on that action step, and it took me a while. And now I'm, continuing the action step to hopefully, by God's grace, definitely achieve my goal, right? And so now I'm in a different season. So that action step isn't so much working to get into grad school. Now the action step is going to look different, and it's going to look different in different seasons. And there are also different types of goals. That was a big goal and a big action step. I also have had smaller goals, right? Getting into grad school in general was a goal. And what was one action step that I did on a consistent basis? Well, I was working with a voice teacher. I worked with a voice teacher every single week, at least one. And for many weeks I had two. Sometimes I even worked with multiple, just depending on what grad school I was applying to and whether I wanted to take lessons with, someone in their grad program. So that kind of thing. But that was my action step. I had to take voice. I had to take lessons. I had to make sure that I wasn't just practicing on my own, which I was, but I was making sure that I was practicing with someone else. And so what that did is that, to get back on topic, because I kind of went off a little bit, but what that did, to get back to the whole topic of time, is that it helped me to craft and section off, I had to force myself to section off time, even if it was 30 minutes a week for an in-person voice lesson or 30 minutes a week for a virtual voice lesson, which I did both. I've done virtual voice lessons, I've done in person, and I've gotten so many benefits from both, pros and cons to both, right? And I had to section off that time. And I had that in my mind, and I knew that that was one way that I was going to be developing myself to reach the goal that I have as a performer. And that's it. Like, it wasn't all that I did, of course, but because I took that one step, and because I had that one action step in place already in my schedule, then I could work my schedule around that one action step. So even though I was extremely busy last year, I was so busy, I was working full time. I'm also very involved in my church. My parents are pastors. I'm very involved in church, period. So there's that. I also, of course, run my online voice studio, my podcast. It was a lot. I even performed. I was in a show last year too. It was like there was a lot going on. I auditioned too last year. My goodness, it was crazy. Last year was insane. And applying for grad school. So much. I'm not recommending you go crazy, but I'm just saying that it is possible to craft time when it's something that is meaningful to you. And the way that you can craft time is just by limiting yourself to one action step a week. One action step. Say it with me. One action step a week. Say it out loud. I will take one action step this week to make time for my creative passion. Okay? There you go. Now it's just a matter of figuring out what that action step is, right? Figure out, but you have to start with the goal in mind. Know what your end goal is. So if you want to be a better dancer, if you want to be a professional dancer, maybe that one action step. Okay, maybe your schedule is super busy and you're not able to take dance classes in the evenings for whatever reason. And so that's like, it feels like it's so out of reach for you to ever become a dancer. Now, there are Saturday classes, so I would say maybe look into a Saturday class that you can take a Saturday morning, right? Or Saturday early afternoon. You can also look at online options. You can look at some online options where you can take a dance class virtually, maybe on a Saturday if that's more convenient for you, or a Sunday evening or something like that. You know, think outside of the box, right? So not just what you would traditionally say, oh, this is what I have to do, otherwise, okay, I can't do that. So in this season, I can't do that. So I should just give up on ever becoming a professional dancer. Well, it might be a little bit of a slower grow if you're not able to take dance classes in the evening, but you can still find online dance lessons that you can join in and that you can take at other times of the day. You can also find YouTube videos, right, that you can dance along with. Maybe once a week, you have a time in the morning where that's your workout time. This is your exercise time. It's your time for yourself, and you're going to watch this dance video and you're going to work on it. You're going to perfect that choreography of that piece or whatever the dance video is, or you're going to watch this video that's like a recorded dance class, right, that you can watch online. There are plenty of those online, and I've had past episodes where I kind of share some resources, but I mean, it's so possible, it's so feasible if you just think of one action step you can do this week. I promise you, if you are creative and you think outside the box, you can come up with something you can do to make sure that you're making time in your busy schedule to keep growing as a creative in your performing in the creative passion that you have, right? And that performing arts craft that you want to develop, okay? And if you really don't know where to begin, especially when it comes to singing and performing, I have a freebie for you. I have a free PDF download that you can go to creativelybyestelle.com/tips to download. There are 5 free tips that you can use. Literally start with one of them today, start with one of them for the next few weeks, and apply it and make that time to do that one action step. You will over time start building confidence as a singer if you are doing any of these action steps. But make sure that you go, it's a free download. Just go ahead and sign up for that, and I'll send it over to you. You'll also join my email list where I send a weekly inspirational email with, the latest podcast episode details, and just like feel free to respond to me on that as well. But like it's there for you. Like, this is that's a great way to start, but there are so many other options for how you can make time for your craft in your busy schedule. There's so many other options for action steps that you can take, and let me think of one more for you guys. So maybe you are someone who maybe you want to grow as an actor. right, maybe you want to start acting again, and you're like, okay, how do I make time to start acting? Like, I don't know where to begin. I don't know. I don't have time, like, to audition. Like, it seems so stressful. Your action step could be that you are going to submit a self-tape every single week on backstage.com, which is a place where you can go for audition listings, and you can go and audition. You can submit virtual auditions, video auditions, or even just like your resume and headshot. And even though, you know, it might feel like a lot, even if it's just like, okay, this week all I can do, all I have time for is just to submit my resume and headshot to this one place, to this one audition listing. Okay, well, you did it, right? You got into the discipline of doing it, so that's better than nothing, right? You've given yourself that vote of thanks that vote of confidence as an actor, that, you know what, I submitted something this week, so I'm proud of myself, right? So if that's something that you want to grow in, or I mean, that's more so related to like acting career wise, but if you want to grow as an actor in skill wise, which is really where, you know, really would be a good place to start, would be to maybe say that you're going to read a chapter of an acting book every single week, like one day a week or one time in the week. You're going to make sure that you read about acting. So maybe you get a book about acting from the library, or you order it online, and you make sure that you read that chapter every single week. Or maybe you're going to listen to a podcast on acting with acting tips every single week, and make sure you listen to it on your way to work or wherever you're going, right? Whatever, even if it seems so small, like listening to a podcast episode, even if it feels so small, just do it. Just do it and make time for it in one way, well, for that one action step. And do it this week. I'm telling you, you got to do it. You got to start. You got to start now, okay? It's still the beginning of the year. We can still do this, okay? You got to start now. Otherwise, you're never going to actually ever get started as a singer, as a dancer, as a performer. You're never going to really get started in pursuing that professionally and intentionally as you want to if you don't actually make time in your schedule. So you got to make time. This is the number one way to start. You just have to decide what your goal is and decide on what that action step that you're going to take every week is. Decide, and then take that action, okay? And I'm so here for you as always. Come to the Performing Arts Community on Facebook. You can join. The links are always in the show notes. You can always message me on Instagram, like, let me know what you think of the episode. Let me know if you have any other questions, follow-up questions, etc. I'm so excited to hear from you, and I'm always happy to chat. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope that you take the time. Don't forget to go to creativelybyestelle.com/tips so that you can get those 5 free tips to start singing and performing with confidence, and make sure that you get started with one of them. And even if it's just doing a vocal warm-up, which I believe is probably listed there in those tips for you, I have like multiple episodes on vocal warm-ups that you can follow along with, right? And you can just play any one of those episodes and sing along, and do that once a week. There you go. That's your action step to start growing as a singer without sacrificing your schedule. So I hope this helps. I really, really do. Let me know if it does, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and your week, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm so in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the Performing Arts Community on Facebook for support and inspiration as you continue on your journey. If this episode helped or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with someone. It means so much. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.